Okay, so apparently the internet battle over Ghostbusters 3 is continuing to rage on in some way or another. So with the announcement of Ghostbusters 3, or Ghostbusters 2020 as it's being affectionately called, we know that Jason Reitman wrote the screenplay, we know that he is directing the movie, we know that he is the son of the original director, and we know that it's set in the original Ghostbusters Prime universe and is completely disregarding the Ghostbusters 2016 universe, at least for right now. I stand by my theory that they are going to pull from the IDW comic book series and find a way to merge the two universes together, at least bringing in Holtzman and probably Patty, because they're going to be a lot cheaper than getting Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig back for the role, and find a way to combine the universes together and maybe salvage that particular brand, albeit it's a bad idea. That's a horrible idea. But one of the other things people were complaining about was the potential rumor involving the casting of Ghostbusters 2020. Is it going to be centered around Venkman or Stantz or Zedmore? Is it Winston? What's it going to be? Who is it going to be about? What's the focus going to be? Who's going to be the main character? And a lot of people just want the main guys. Get Rick Moranis back. Get Janine back. Get everyone back. Just get Sigourney Weaver back. Get everyone back, and then just do a movie on that. And that's pretty much what fans want, and that's what I want. But we also have to live in the world now where that's not a reality, because Daniel Richtman here posted this morning saying, this is from Jason Reitman's Ghostbusters. As I told you before, a 12-year-old girl is the main character of the movie. So to all the people who hated an all-female adult Ghostbusters team in the reboot, I wonder how you feel now, because I'm loving it. Suck it, Ghost Bros. Now, the thing is, I don't agree with what Daniel's saying here in regards to like trying to attack those who were critical of the movie. The reboot was bad on many levels, and none of it had to do with an all-female cast. None of it had to do with that. If they would have been the daughters of the original Ghostbusters, I guarantee you no one would have batted an eye. Not one bit. And to Daniel, I have to say, dude, don't stroke that fire. You will lose, because there is evidence, and I mean countless pieces of evidence showcasing how badly Sony fundamentally fucked that movie, and how the cast and the director and even the studio head came out and attacked the fan base, and then wondered why the fan base attacked back by not going to the film. Don't bring that crap up, dude. You will lose that fight constantly. But here's what we know in regards to a casting call looking for the lead character in Ghostbusters 2020. It says here, girl, 12, a female lead. She is off the chart smart and struggles with interpreting and expressing emotions. She speaks with a flat delivery that makes her observations humorous. Her science acumen proves invaluable throughout the story as she navigates complicated family dynamics. Sister to teen boy, this role is the true lead of the movie. Now, what this tells me, for one, is that it's going to be casting a girl to play an autistic character. That's not something that gets a lot of representation inside of this medium, but I think it would work. Now, another thing is this could be the daughter of Egon and Janine. This could be that daughter, because you could see that this is somehow going to tie into Egon. As soon as I read that description, I'm like, this chick is related to Egon. Like, this is the future. It's going to be through the eyes of Egon's daughter, or Egon's granddaughter, because of how old he was at the time. We don't know yet. Additionally speaking, and this is a weird theory that I kind of had this morning, what if it's Egon's clone? Who knows? Ghostbusters has ghosts. Why not cloning? I mean, seriously, like, why not, right? But that's what I think it's going to be. And this saying here, this role is the true lead of the movie, tells me that what we're going to get is kind of an ensemble, very similar to Stranger Things, where in Stranger Things, yeah, you've got the group, but it's really Mikey. You know what I mean? It's really Mikey and Eleven that are the leads. Finn Wolfhard is the lead of that show. He's the lead of that group. The story revolves more around him than anyone else. He's the true lead, but we have all the other characters. Because I love Dustin, you know what I mean? Like, he's a great character too, but he's clearly the comic relief, part of the main ensemble, but off to the side. They gave him more to do in season 2, but that's a whole other conversation. Anyway, so I look at it like this, where they're going to be casting an ensemble of teens that are going to somehow be tied into the larger Ghostbusters narrative. And then it's going to end up being, this girl is going to be her journey. We're going to be looking at it through her perspective. Kind of like Avengers, the first Avengers movie, right? You had that massive ensemble. So then the question is, who's the main character? Who's the true lead of that movie? And Joss Whedon came out and said himself that it was in fact Chris Evans, Captain America, that it was his perspective that we were watching the movie through. And I would argue that you could even apply that same, not that same logic, but the main character of Infinity War was Thanos, because it was his mission. It was his perspective that we were witnessing these events unfold, at least predominantly when we, through him. So again, on these kind of ensembles, there's always going to be a true lead who the story is more centered around. So that's why I'm okay with this. I think if it's well written, it doesn't matter who's in the role. Right? To all the people out there that might be upset about this, you got to ask yourself, have you ever actually said, I don't care, I just don't want identity politics, right? And if you've said that and you're mad at this without knowing anything else about it, I'm going to call a little bit of BS on that one, because we don't know anything else other than this is the role. This girl who is off the charts smart and struggles with interpreting and expressing emotions speaks with a flat delivery that makes her observations humorous. Her science acumen proves invaluable throughout the story as she navigates her complicated family dynamics, right? Again, I happen to think that this is going to be a situation where, if you want my honest opinion, I think Ray is going to be looking after Egon's kid after Egon dies, or maybe Egon and Janine die, and then she goes to live with Uncle Ray, and he had to shut down the business and he moved back to his family farm, and she goes out there, and that's going to be part of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. I don't know yet. I won't know until I see the movie next year. But in the meantime, this is an interesting way of going about it. The way that Jason Reitman is approaching this particular film is from his perspective when he was that age, when he was that kid who was watching his father make this movie, when he was a child seeing Ghostbusters for the first time, when he had a bit cameo appearance in Ghostbusters 2. He was also living that. He considers himself the first Ghostbusters fan, and he's not going to be going into this alone. He's going to clearly be talking about this with his father. He's going to clearly be talking about this with Dan Aykroyd, whom he's known his entire damn life. So I would argue that where his direction is going right now is probably not to a woke place like a lot of people are going to try to argue based upon this just 2-sentence character description for a casting call. Look at the history of the person involved. Look at their access to the source material, the fact that they were there at its creation through its original 2 films, and is now taking the helm of this one. I would argue it's best to just let it see where it goes. So be very, and the thing is too, portraying an autistic kid as the lead in a movie like this, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think a lot of people don't understand autism, and I could be wrong. It may not be autistic, but it seems like it's autistic, and a lot of people out there don't understand autism, and it's looked at a certain way. And if this can help bring some positivity to people understanding that perspective, man, I'm actually all for that. You can call me a woke SJW if you want. I don't care. I'm looking at it from the perspective of like, hey, give someone the opportunity to tell a story from a character perspective, and let's not get bogged down in the identity politics of that character. Just let them exist. But it all boils down to, at this point, and I'll be honest with you guys, whether or not, like, again, if Jason Reitman starts attacking the fans, if the cast starts attacking the fans, if the crew starts attacking the fans, then it's a reboot of 2016 all over again. And at that point, yes, it's time to grab the torches and pitchforks and go to fucking war. We've done it before. We'll do it again. But in the meantime, we don't know anything else outside of this. So you got to just kind of hold off on that until then. And that's all I wanted to say about that. But I leave it to you. Your thoughts, your opinions, write them below.